I wasn't planning to make this video at first, but circumstances turned out to be stronger than my intentions. Today we're talking about a saboteur tank, and if you thought that meant we'd be circling enemies and operating behind their lines, you're wrong. I called this vehicle a saboteur because it's literally the worst tank among all modern American vehicles, and it significantly drags down the US team's win rate at battle rating 12.0. Let's start with the main parameters of this tank. The top speed of this tank is 64 kilometers per hour going forward, which is pretty mediocre. Basically, it moves at the same speed as Israeli tanks, and many players dislike those precisely because they're slow. Its reverse speed was clearly stolen from the Soviet team and is only 10 kilometers per hour. Obviously, 10 kilometers per hour in reverse is terrible for a tank with no armor. On half of the maps where you'd want to play on the flank, you simply don't have enough speed to get into an unexpected position. And on the other half, where you have to face the enemy head-on, you often don't have enough reverse speed to retreat in time. The turret rotation speed, both horizontally and vertically, is excellent on this tank. Even with a stock crew, it reaches 42 degrees per second. Once you upgrade to an ace crew, it jumps to 60 degrees per second for both elevation and traverse. Simply put, even with a stock crew, this tank has a faster turret rotation than any other main battle tank in the game. So when it comes to aiming speed, that's one thing we'll never have a problem with. The gun depression of this tank is an incredible 15 degrees, and that's one of its main features. If I remember correctly, that's the second best gun depression among all ground vehicles in War Thunder. Naturally, this makes the tank extremely comfortable to play on hilly terrain, and there are even some unique positions that only this vehicle can effectively use. No other tank can take advantage of them the same way. The tank is armed with a 75mm gun that, thanks to its autoloader, fires every 0.9 seconds. Our primary round has a maximum penetration of 276mm. Theoretically, that's enough to kill enemy tanks by hitting weak spots. However, there are plenty of situations where you'll penetrate the armor and still not deal enough damage to finish the target, and it happens fairly often. I even put together a short clip to show you exactly what I mean. You might think that the low damage could be compensated by the fast reload, but in reality, it often works against you. Here's what usually happens. You hit an enemy with your first shot and obviously want to finish them off. While you're firing a few more rounds from behind cover, another enemy easily sends you back to the hangar. What I mean is, with a main battle tank, you take a shot and immediately retreat into cover. But with this tank, you often end up staying exposed for several seconds, desperately trying to finish the target. And to be honest, based on my experience, this tank's shells have the most unpredictable damage I've ever seen. Sometimes you can't even kill an enemy with a perfect side shot, and other times you one-shot someone through armor you shouldn't even be able to penetrate. Long story short, the damage on this thing is just a dice roll every time. As secondary ammo, we can carry a few high-explosive shells that detonate within an 8-meter radius of aircraft, helicopters, or drones. Thanks to the fact that we can lock onto enemy aircraft, we get a lead marker, which makes hitting them much easier. Just remember, you can only lock onto targets in sniper mode. The third-person view won't allow you to acquire a lock. When it comes to armor, this tank basically has none. However, enemy shells sometimes manage to ricochet off the upper glacis. In the middle of the hull is the autoloader, which, like on all tanks with autoloaders, acts as an extra layer of protection. It can occasionally absorb damage and shield the ammo rack from an explosion. And of course, any enemy vehicle with an autocannon leaves us absolutely no chance of survival. Before we move on to the final part, where I'll share my personal experience with this tank and try to talk you out of buying it, I want to thank each of you for sticking with me and helping this channel grow. I'm truly grateful that in less than a year you've helped make this channel so big. Also, don't forget to check the comments, even if you don't feel like writing anything yourself. There you can find opinions about the vehicles from the videos that may differ greatly from mine, giving you multiple perspectives on each tank. And since I'm not interested in you spending money unnecessarily, I never delete someone else's opinion about a vehicle, even if it contradicts mine. Of course, a huge thanks to the channel members for your financial support. I really appreciate it and I'm truly grateful. So, to understand how good or bad this tank really is, we shouldn't look at it in isolation. We need to compare it to something. The first thing that came to mind is comparing it to a similar tank from the tech tree. The premium tank loses to the tech tree tank not only in top speed and reverse speed, but also significantly in engine power. The premium tank does win in gun aiming speed, but let's be realistic. No one in a battle will ever notice the difference between 60 degrees per second and 57. The premium version also has a huge advantage in the number of shells you can carry into battle, which is a strong plus. Of course, we can ignore the 2-degree difference in gun depression and the minor difference in reload speed. But the lack of smoke grenades on a high-tier vehicle cannot be overlooked, as smoke can save your life in countless situations. In the end, the picture is clear. A $70 tank is significantly worse than a tech tree tank, even though both sit at a battle rating of 12.0. Do you know what makes this whole situation with this tank absolutely absurd? Let's try comparing it to another premium tank with a battle rating of just 10.3. Doesn't it seem like these tanks are incredibly similar in terms of stats? Even though the Soviet tank comes with a laser warning system, an engine smoke generating system, reloads twice as fast, carries 2.5 times more shells, and as a bonus has a high-quality thermal scope. Now just think about this. If the Soviet tank gets lucky and ends up in a battle against tanks with a battle rating of 9.3, it literally fires 2 shots per second that can penetrate almost any tank frontally. At the same time, if the American tank faces tanks with a battle rating of 11.0, it will still find it incredibly difficult to pen an enemy frontally. In my personal opinion, this tank's battle rating is way too high. For it to be considered even average in the War Thunder food chain, it should sit at a battle rating of 10.7, not 12.0. I really hope that someone among my viewers can explain to me what makes this tank special. Maybe I'm just missing something in this game. I hope the very fact that I had to compare it to a tank with a battle rating of 10.3 will make you think twice before buying it. While I was playing it, I literally felt like I was in some survival horror game rather than War Thunder. This tank is extremely weak in the current state of the game and is absolutely not worth its price. You have to play it extremely carefully and positionally. And you know who does this kind of gameplay even better? Any premium Abrams. The Abrams is far more effective in positional play, forgives more mistakes, and still allows you to flank, brawl, and not worry about having a reverse speed of only 10 kilometers per hour. In short, I strongly do not recommend buying this tank until its battle rating is significantly lowered. I hope this video was helpful for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.